Well, hello everybody on the interwebs who loves miniatures. Welcome to another Monday with me, Doc Eon. Today is Monday the 2nd of October, 2023, and I'm here to ramble. And I've got a lot to ramble about this week. See, this finished pile is 10 models, all from Reaper Miniatures. So the sculptor of this girl has been reading too much Witchblade. Even though this is supposed to be an elf, she has the ears. Here we have Jake Ryan, I believe is the name of this model, who's just sort of an adventurer, more modern day. And then we have the two speedsters, who, because I had two copies of this same model, I decided to paint them in, you know, kind of reverse color schemes, if you will. If you know, you know. Then we have the snake people here in the background, whom I decided to paint yellow this time. No real reason, it's just that I have other snake or lizard people in green and red and blue, but none in yellow. So that was the only primary color left, so to speak. And they're roughly speed painted, no big deal. But I think they're reasonable tabletop quality, mooks, and that's all they need to be. Anyway, there will be better close-ups in the still pictures at the end. So let's keep this episode rolling and continue to works in progress. Here on the work table, you can see a reasonable amount of minis this time. These 5 are what's left from last week that I'm still working on, that I started last week and that I'm still working on. As you can see, the Snake Man Champion and the Snake Demoness are fairly far along. These 3 have just been started. Some base coats on just a few parts, like the hair on these, just undercoating the armor on the Samurai. Not really a lot happening so far, but I'm confident that I can make more progress on them the coming week. Perhaps even finishing all of these 5, and possibly even more. Let's see what else I've started prepping. And here we see all the newly prepped robotic creatures. They've been given a black primer. This primer is very thin and kind of translucent. I'm thinking of giving it an extra blast through the airbrush of just thinned down normal black paint as well, once this dries, just to give it a solid undercoat before I start really painting them. So there's 4 simple one-piece models. I didn't bother giving them... I'll just use the integral bases. I just can't be asked to expand them. These 2 were multi-part. This one especially was a lot of different small pieces, and so I put them on bases that I've previously stamped with rollers. This spider droid cyborg kind of thing, you see he has a head which is not robotic, was of course really tricky to put together, and I used the provided simple blank base. I'm not going to bother. I might put some texture down it. No, yeah, whatever. I'm probably just going to leave it alone. Just paint like a metal floor or something. But yeah, that is going to be a batch of stuff I paint by next week probably. Most of this can be done pretty quickly with dry brushing and washes. The only issue is if I want to add some color to it other than metallics, like they've been, I mean, they're basically metal, but they might have been painted at some point. If I want it really advanced, I should try to go for a chipped paint effect on some pieces of them where the metal is showing through the paint job. We'll see if I feel like doing that, but that's an interesting idea at least. Anyway, let's move on. So what are we inventorying today? Well, I've got a couple of boxes here similar to the ones, well, exactly like the ones I opened last week. These ones, they're from the same company. They contain some different stuff though. One has scenery, like furniture figures. I think the Kickstarter was named Dungeon Decor. And the other contains some fantasy creatures that are anthropomorphic animals, like some cat people and I don't know, maybe there's some dog people in there as well. It looks mostly like cat people, to be honest. It's about 10 of those. Now the scenery I don't consider to be miniatures per se. I'm not going to add them into my inventory as models that need to be painted, because they're just stuff I can scatter in if I'm like building a complicated base for something or making a diorama or something. Possibly the only exception here is this thing here, which looks sort of like some sort of monster. I'm not sure. It's like a suit of armor with a sword, and it's got, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be tentacles or vines or mist around it. It's interesting, but odd. Now, for prep, I'm going to actually keep working on the stuff I showed you last week, those robots and post-apocalyptic stats. And, you know, I actually found this. It's a couple of sheets of paper that are the catalog for this company, and it shows you what it's really good for is it gives you an idea of, for example, this guy which I just built, what it's supposed to look like. And that was perhaps not super difficult, but there are a few others where I didn't really understand, like these guys, for instance, here, just from looking at the pieces, how they were supposed to go together. So having this picture as a guide was very helpful, actually. I lucked out there. Or maybe I was smart in keeping these instead of throwing this sheet of paper away. As you can see, it's kind of old. It's gotten a little bit yellowed, so it's several years since I backed these Kickstarters. And I can see from the catalog that these skeletons and zombies, I painted those years and years ago. I painted those a long time ago. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at this point. And they're from the same company. Interesting. I had forgotten that. So, anyway, that was all the stuff I had to show you this week. We come to the end of the episode, where I wish you good luck and a happy week. I hope you give this video a thumbs up, and a comment, and a share, and maybe a subscription if you haven't done so before. But above all, please be back here next week, same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian, who is now signing off.